64. 64 days to go on this Labor Day, September 2nd, 2024. This is the warning. Tomorrow at dawn, when it breaks over the Cadillac Mountain on the east coast of Maine, the fall campaign will have begun. And the decision ahead for the American people is a momentous one, because this imbecile could be elected president of the United States. He's a genius. Have you heard?
You know, I do the weave. You know what the weave is? I'll talk about like 9 different things and they all come back brilliantly together. And it's like, and friends of mine that are like English professors, they say, it's the most brilliant thing I've ever seen. But the fake news, you know what they say? He rambled. That's not rambling. When you have, what you do is you get off a subject to mention another little tidbit, then you get back onto the subject, and you go through this, and you do it for 2 hours, and you don't even mispronounce one word.
Now, for most normal people, this shtick is boring and old, imbecilic, and sick. Trump has been sustained by a chorus of sycophants, a lot of them from the right-wing media. Fox News, of course, was forced to pay almost $1 billion defamation for lying about the results of the election. Fox News is filled with liars and whack jobs. It is teeming with them. But at the very tippy top, even beyond the realm of Maria Bartiromo, the conspiracy theorist, even more rancid than Judge Jeannie, is Mark Levin, one of the great scumbags of the far-right media movement. Some years ago, a woman called into Mark Levin's radio show, and Mark Levin told her to find a gun in her home, put it to her head, and kill herself. He is a disgusting, vile man, a conspiracy theorist. Somebody, though, who's written a lot of really bad books, sells them on Fox, and carries with him in the conservative movement this patina of an intellectual, some type of legal scholar, because he worked for Ed Meese in the Reagan administration, where he served in some low-level Justice Department position. Mark Levin, super clown, and I mean it. Now, this guy sat down with Donald Trump and did, I don't know what it should be called. It's not an interview. It's the type of journalism that you see in autocratic societies. Fawning doesn't begin to describe it. Conservatives like to talk about beta men. Wow. You want to understand what a beta male is? Look at this guy. Wow. Okay. Where to start? How does Donald Trump make earth-shattering decisions? Have you ever wondered? Well, he's going to tell you. Let's watch.
The American people, I think a lot of them want to know, how do you come by your decisions and how do you manage in the Oval Office?
Well, I think that I learned, like I talked about the truckers, I learned about trucks, and by talking to them, in 5 minutes, I knew as much as I'm going to have to know to make decisions that are going to be earth-shattering for transportation, for moving cargo and moving a lot of other things. I learned from having interaction. Some politicians don't have interaction. Some politicians aren't smart. They can't have interactions.
Let's just take this apart in English. If I understand what Trump said correctly, he talks to trucks. He only talks to trucks for 5 minutes. He connects with them. And then he makes earth-shattering decisions because he's so smart. That's what the man just said. And he wants the nuclear weapons keys. I guess my question is, does anybody in America driving on the highways, flying in our airports, really think that Trump is some type of transportation genius? What's he talking about? But he's just getting warmed up. On to the next question.
Whoever heard you get indicted for interfering with a presidential election where you have every right to do it? You get indicted and your poll numbers go up. When people get indicted, your poll numbers go down.
I'm not 100% about this, but I'm pretty sure there used to be a television show that I occasionally watched about the dumbest criminals amongst criminals. Now, This is somebody who's been charged with 34 felonies, most of them around interfering in a federal election. And again, in English, I think Donald Trump just admits to interfering with the election that he was a candidate in, of course, fraudulently, inciting an insurrection and all of that. Now, his sycophant, Mark Levin, isn't either bright enough, tough enough, or patriotic enough to ask a follow-up question. He stays on his back like a little puppy, while Trump pisses all over the truth. Now, again, what Trump's admitting to here is, hey, I interfered with the election, but I could. Really? Again, our entire way of life is sustained by the fact that we, the people, choose who leads us. We get a vote. We get a say. Trump doesn't get to say that we're wrong when we decide to fire him. And that, at the core, is why we all are where we are as a country. Because the MAGA movement has attacked the cornerstone of the American way of life, which is elections. We decide. We're an almost 250-year-old republic, and Donald Trump tried to burn it down. Remember that. And again, if this question doesn't answer forever the question of what Kamala Harris is never doing a debate on Fox News, and you're as dumb as Mark Levin.
China paid me hundreds of billions of dollars, and then they say, oh, you're soft in China. I remember President Xi said, if you're soft on me, I'd hate to see if you were bad. And by the way, Putin said the exact same thing. If you're soft, I'd hate to see you bad. This is a good thing. You know, the press, if I said get along with him great, the press would say, oh, he said he gets along with him great. No, this is a good thing. This is a smart thing.
Honest to God, I'm not sure what to say other than to say, do any of us Americans want a president that's been paid hundreds of billions of dollars by the Chinese? Of course, it's all imaginary money and it never happened. For example, it's not like the $2 billion of Saudi money that was deposited into Jared Kushner's new investment company 6 months after he stopped receiving the president's daily brief with the most classified information that the president of the United States sees. I mean, of course, it never happened. President Xi, President Putin never said to Trump, I'd hate to see what tough looks like. If this is soft, it's all bullshit. Nonsense talk. Now, do you want to understand the depth of this rancid, adjudicated rapist's idiocy? Let's understand how dangerous it is to have a fool of this dimensions sitting in a room with Vladimir Putin by looking at what he says next about why our relations with Russia aren't better.
We were having a problem. You had Adam Shifty Schiff and all these bad people, including Hillary and others, coming up with this Russia hoax. And I told Putin, I said, you know, it's a shame because we could have done a lot of business, the countries together, but with this whole fake thing that's going on, and he understood that. I said, it's a fake deal. He actually said to me, he said, it's tough to make a deal now. I said, you're right, it's tough. They created a fake narrative, this Russia hoax. It was a hoax. And we could have had a much different relationship with Russia.
Because of Adam Schiff, they couldn't get a deal done. What's the deal? What's the compromise? What is Trump talking about? This is all non sequiturs. It makes no sense whatsoever, but let's listen.
Kamala, who they say has many deficiencies, but she's a nasty person. The way she treated Mike Pence was horrible. The way she treats people is horrible.
I don't know, Donald, but raping E. Jean Carroll didn't seem like a nice thing to do, or any of your other sexual assaults. And believe me, I'm somebody who's been quite clear that I don't think Mike Pence is any hero. But you tried to have him hung. So whatever Kamala Harris did to him, you win.
We have the enemy outside, which would be the very standard countries, and we have the enemy from within. We have some very sick people from within. I think that the people that go around indicting their political opponent, especially when their political opponent didn't want to do it to them, I could have done it so easy.
Yes, this man is a buffoon and an imbecile, but he is dangerous and he is a fascist. And these are the words of a fascist. The enemy within are his political opponents. He means it when he talks about retribution and revenge. He is coming for those who oppose him. He thought about it. He thinks he deserves credit for not locking up his political opponents last time. He thinks he was restrained, and his restraint was therefore virtuous. This is madness. These are dangerous words. These are the words of warning and an incitement to violence. Speaker Nancy Pelosi is a titanic figure in American life, and she will be remembered as such by history. During a filming of the attack incited by Donald Trump, we see how the Speaker of the House, the number 3 official in the United States, reacts. And very correctly, she labels Trump, who incited it all, as a domestic enemy. There are enemies of America, both foreign and domestic. But opposition is not his enemy. It's constitutional. It's American. Donald Trump wants to burn it all down so he gets some more power and money. He has to be stopped. 63 days tomorrow, we make a decision. The summer is over. Fall campaign is at hand, and the stakes for our future are immense. Do something. Get involved. Let's keep this idiot out of the White House and out of our bedrooms, our confessionals, and our doctor's offices. I'm Steve Schmidt. This is The Warning, and I invite you to subscribe on our Substack, on our YouTube channel. Follow us. Welcome to the community.